Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversation with Masters. Today we have another new friend in our podcast. Emerson, welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Marius, for inviting me to be here and talk about a work that I know you are passionate about, and so am I, which is the world of constellations, the family constellations, organizational constellations, and all that.
That's fantastic. Please introduce yourself in the way that feels more natural to you.
I am Brazilian. I was born and raised in Brazil, and I have been living in London for a very long time now. And not all my adult life, but most of my adult life. I left Brazil when I was 26 in 1987, and ever since I have been in London. So this is my 39th year in London. So it's been a long time, and I feel very much at home here. One thing I like to say about myself is as this constellation work, we know our ancestry, how important our ancestry is to all of us, whether we are aware of it or not, is that my ancestry is made up of, generally speaking, 92% European, most of it Portuguese, some more Iberian and Spanish, about 18% on my mother's father's side Italian, but I also have West African heritage,
Wow.
which is on my father's side, and also Native American heritage.
Wow, it's a fantastic mix.
I am a very typical Brazilian. That is what being Brazilian means. We have, in different ways, depend very much in the region in Brazil where you were born, but I'm Southeast, so this is very sort of typical there. If you go further north, it will be a different mix. Not necessarily different, but percentage will be different. So it's a very varied ancestry, and I really feel good about naming them. Yes, and about me, my work is I've been a Shiatsu practitioner, which is based on Oriental medicine, for over 30 years now. I got involved with complementary therapy in 1989, to be precise. And I studied acupressure, then I studied Shiatsu. I became a full-time practitioner, and I still am a Shiatsu practitioner. I still see Shiatsu clients. But in 2004, I came across family constellations. Well, I think it was before that I heard about it, but 2004 I was going through a personal crisis, and I felt I needed help. And thank God, I thank the field, I found constellation work. And once I had my first experience of family constellations, for me, it was so impactful, was so transformative, and felt so important. Helped helped me to make so much more sense of so many things that were happening. So I really got excited. I really benefited from that experience. And then I started having individual sessions, psychotherapy sessions as well. And then at some point, I joined the training. And so I trained in family constellations. And during my second year training family constellations, I have been also a Shiatsu teacher, and I was teaching the second year students, not teaching, we were recapping the 5 element theory. And so I experimented with constellating the 5 elements. It's a long story. If I tell you the story, it's going to take almost the whole time of us here together. But I have it on my website if anybody's interested. So it's written there. And it's an interesting story how it came about. But then it was shockingly powerful. To me, at the time, surprising. Today, I'm not surprised about this anymore because I know how it is to work with the field and the constellation work. It is impactful, it is strong, it is real. And that's how it was. But I wasn't familiar with this. Even though I was on my second year training, I was like, with the 5 elements, I was thought, probably it's not going to work. But let's try it anyway, just for fun. And
Wow,
it did work.
It's a huge journey what you have, and what I notice with the years, everyone who work first, they work in themselves maybe, and if you look to the physiognomy and What I look to in the eyes of the people when I work or I'm in the field with some people. You'll notice some change, you know. The light in the iris, especially, and after the physiognomy will change with the time. Like it's like you leave something down and you coming in contact with yourself. It's something powerful, amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes we get in contact with ourselves. Sometimes we let go of something that's not ours, that we're so caught up in. We call this entanglement, as you know. And so once we release that entanglement, our nervous system completely rearrange itself sometimes.
It's very nice you pick up the 5 elements in your method. It seems every practitioner with the time they find in some way, I think, their own way to work, I guess. So that attracted my attention too, and I think, oh, Emerson, yes, he must be here in the podcast and to explain us how it's work exactly. So what are the 5 elements in your method?
Yeah, I'm very, I'm excited that you are interested because this work means so much to us and means so much to the people we share this work with. So excitement and availability for this work, I have plenty. So it's very good to be here and be sharing that with you and with everybody who's been listening. Yes. Well, the 5 elements, they are from Oriental medicine, and they are the water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. And so, and they have many associations, and they have different ways that they relate to one another, and that's originally used to diagnose, to assess a person's condition, and also to work out a type of treatment that would be appropriate for them at that moment in time. It's very much used in Shiatsu, it's very much used in acupuncture, acupressure, and other methods of that kind. And when I started working with the elements, that's all the information I had. So I was using that. But after this first experience, I had another experience where I did the constellation again, and I just said, I want just to demonstrate to you how to place the 5 elements and all that. As soon as I placed them, they started talking. And the thing was, I recognized exactly what they're talking about. It was my constellation. And that was so accurate that I felt completely naked. It felt, oh my God, what's going on here? Because it was my second time. And I thought, this is saying, I really knew that what you're talking about was very deep dynamic that I held in myself. And because I was thinking that I was going to use the associations from Oriental medicine, but at the time I wasn't aware of it, but it was clearly an intrapsychic process. No, of course, the intrapsychic process and the systemic process are not unrelated. They're very much related. They very much affect one another. But they are 2 different parts of our experiences in life, even though you cannot really separate them. But they are different aspects of our relationship. So because of all the things we internalize when we're small, these are dynamics that we have. And of course, what we internalize when we're small is very much because of the systemic entanglements as well that our family of origin has. So they are very much related in that way. But in that experience, it showed me that it is something that's happening here now with this person. And I did not know how to deal with that. And then I did it more times, and it was amazing, and people were getting a lot out of it, but I was pretty much lost. I didn't know exactly what to do with it. Yeah, because this information is coming, and that is what informed me that I needed more. I needed to know something more. And that's when I decided to go and train myself in Gestalt psychotherapy.
All right.
So that was I felt this is happening, this works, and I don't know exactly how to do with this. And so then I joined Gestalt psychotherapy, and I'm glad I did it, because as I was working with the 5 Elements Constellation, as I was training Gestalt psychotherapy, I was getting to understand some insights about how the ego functions, aspects of the self, all of that. And I could identify that the names I was getting in Gestalt psychotherapy is exactly what was coming up in the constellation work. So
Wow.
in a way, I did not plan it that way, It's sort of evolved in that way. I just try to keep back with it.
So we can say these elements are symbolic, energetic, or structural.
They are very much probably all of that, but they do show up the psychological structure of the person, as well as give you a very clear if there is something systemic that needs to be looked at. They also tells you what it is and where it is. That is the major thing. Now, the elements, the constellation with the elements show you that without the client telling you one single word.
Wow, it's like
There is no interview.
magic.
Well, it does look like that. Of course, it's not magic, but it looks like that because, for example, if a person comes to my workshop, they have two choices. Actually, they have three choices. One is to do the traditional issue. They say, "Do what I'm present with this. It's very important. I really need directly support in this level." So then I ask questions, etc., and then we go about it in the more traditional family constellation approach. But if they want to do the elements, so then I'm not going to be asking them a question at all. They have the choice of constellating the 5 elements or constellating one element. And so if they choose to constellate the 5 elements, so the person simply chooses 5 people in the group to represent the elements. And so I have a card so that they know who's representing what. And that's it. There is no information. The elements, they give all the information you need. Actually, it gives you too much information. One of the problem is about how to find the one that needs more attention at this moment in time.
Yeah, the field, right?
Indeed.
Now I want to ask you about Shiatsu. So how does Shiatsu influence your constellation work or helps you? I don't know.
I don't know what way you're asking me if it's influenced, because I have these very two separate things.
Oh, okay.
Today I have a very separate thing. At the beginning, because I was a Shiatsu practitioner, so that's what I'm doing. And so I'm doing the 5 element constellation based on Oriental medicine. That's what I'm doing. But then with the psychotherapy training and the way things were spontaneously and organically happening during the constellation, it took me in another direction. So I see a Shiatsu client and I treat them in the Shiatsu way. But if a person comes to either psychotherapy or constellations, individual sessions or in group, then we go in another way. So I don't bring them together as such. I do know someone who's been doing that. Yes.
So, Emerson, I would like to ask you a curiosity, right? What the body reveals that words cannot?
Well, I'm tempted to answer your question in this following way. It reveals everything. Now, it doesn't mean we know what to do with that, but it does reveal everything. And sometimes people come with symptoms of illnesses and we constellate that. And doesn't mean that symptom of illness will necessarily go, but the person does gain some kind of insight there. And sometimes the symptoms or illness has happened that it goes. Now I have had people with kidney problems that, and a person came to one workshop and I heard that the kidney problem ceased to exist. Yeah. So, but I'm not saying that's always happens, but it potentially can happen that way as well. Yes. Because I usually people say, the body and the mind or the spirit, however people say that, they work together. I don't think they work together. I think they are one thing. There is no separation. We are one and that's it. There is no way we cannot be one with everything.
Right. So if we pick the balance and order, if we think a little bit in this area, do you think harmony is always the goal?
It's the direction of travel. I would say it's the direction of travel. And if you are living life in a slightly more harmonious way, it's already better. Who can say they will be living in harmony 100%? I don't experience that myself. I have never met anybody who experienced themselves in harmony 100%. So, but if we feel more in harmony with ourselves and with the world and others, so that is a great thing already. Fantastic. More in harmony. And I think that is, for me, is the direction of travel. The journey is the direction. And I actually say it in a different way as well. I usually say the direction of travel has to be towards the true self.
It's nice because you have the tree behind you, so that it's about grounding. My new friend Emerson. Now I like to ask you about responsibility and what or which responsibility comes with creating your own method.
Well, it's a very interesting question. Nobody has asked me this question before. And that's very interesting because I do feel the responsibility for it to some extent. And I do feel, sometimes I ask myself, because no, I've been constellating the 5 elements for 16, 17 years now. And I've gained a lot of insight through constellating the 5 elements. Most of the information that I have today about the 5 elements are not related to the Oriental medicine anymore. It's something that came along, that's happening. Oh, that's it. And so I see it in a different way. And the way I see it is not that, doesn't contradict the Oriental medicine at all. For me, it feels very complementary. However, I feel it's almost like too pretentious of me to even think that, because the five element theory is something that's millennial, has been developed over so many hundreds of years and thousands of years. And so for a guy, out of the blue to come and say, it complements that, feels like I'm getting used to it now, but it feels like very pretentious and too ambitious. But the thing is, I never planned to do it. The information is coming. All I have to do is to acknowledge it. So, and instead of trying to get the information to fit in a pre-existing knowledge that I have, I think it would be a huge shame and a waste. So basically, I receive that information and I learn from what's happening rather than trying to fit it into what I already know. So my knowledge is expanded by each constellation, by each movement. So and at the same time, yes, I do feel it's I don't know if I feel responsibility. It does feel like something that has a life of its own. The 5 element has a life of its own. What I'm doing feels like I am doing it, and of course, because I am me, I'm doing it this way. I have heard of people constellating the 5 elements in different parts of the world, and I don't know very much about how they go about it, but what I know is very different from what I do. And I guess that's only natural because, there is only one of me here in this planet, and there is only one of you, there is only one of each one of us. So whatever you do, you're going to be doing that. I cannot do your things the way you do. Only you can do that.
Right. So now, like I tell you in the beginning, I know many people, maybe they start and they create their own method. And I would like to ask you how you protect your work from becoming ego-driven.
You are coming with very good questions. I'm loving it. That is such a big thing. To each and every one of us, I guess, in any work that we do. Now, whatever people do in life, that is such an important thing to be aware of. Of course, we all have egos, and egos, by its own nature, is not a big ego. Now, our ego, when it's healthy, is what helps us to function well in life.
If I tell you my perspective about the ego, I send him always to sleep and take some holidays.
I used to deal with, because for me, the way I see, I go a lot to Greece. I'm just about to go to Greece with this work again in 2 weeks' time. And ego, which is where the word ego comes from, means I. So ego for me is, we are functioning well in life. I know what's me, what's not me. I know what's not mine. And so it's ethical, it's healthy, it's balanced. So I think when we say about the ego, I think we're saying about the ego, the compensation of a injured ego or the wounded ego that creates a compensation, becomes too big, grandiose, or seeking attention. And this is really important because this compensating ego that gets a bit out of hand sometimes, we to a greater or less extent, all of us have that as well. So to be aware of it, and that's why I think so important for anybody who is working with another human being to be able and aware and do their own personal inner work, because things do come up for us, and self-awareness is what would help us to know, okay, I'm coming from a different place here, and this is not good for me, that's not good for this person, so I'm taking it, yeah, and to avoid things going in not a healthy way in that interaction.
Yeah, so maybe we can say awareness is very important because it's very easy to go in this ego-driven stuff. Hey, I create something, now I change some lives, and wow, I'm a little god in some way. But
Well, exactly,
yeah,
because the thing, we cannot change anybody's lives. So if you think I'm
no,
changing, if I'm doing this, I'm doing that, no, I am offering a work that can facilitate a person to go through a process. But the person who goes through the process is the client, not me. I'm the facilitator. So that keeps me in my place. And if some huge transformation happens, I'm very glad that my work supported that transformation to happen. But that transformation happened because of the client did their work. With my facilitation, in that case, the credit needs to go where it belongs, which is with the client.
yeah. Now we shift a little bit, Emerson, to another in another area, of course, the future and vision, because it's nice maybe to have some vision and to look a little bit in the future where we want to go. So, how do you see the 5 elements constellation evolving?
Um, this is a very important question for me at the moment, because I started running 5 element training for constellation facilitators to learn how to constellate the 5 elements. And there were 2 courses. I was invited to run one course in Paris. We had an amazing group there. And then after that, I was invited to run this course by a colleague of mine, Lynn Stone, in Salisbury here in England. And it was again another hugely important experience for myself as well, because the working with facilitators really allowed things to come about, and some more information to come up, which really enriched my way of working with the elements. So, but at the moment, I'm not focused on that anymore. At the moment, because my focus now is to put on paper my experience of working the 5 elements and having it made available to people in a way that's not only for people related to constellation, but for anybody who is interested in self-development and self-care. There'll be information from the elements and from the constellation work combined, so that would be good for the public as a whole, as well as for people who are interested in constellation or constellation training with the 5 elements in this case. What I'm thinking forward now is I have already started, already into this process of writing and put things down, and hopefully there'll be somebody interested in publishing it in a way that makes it available to as many people as possible. And then after that, go back to focus a bit more on training other people to learn the 5 elements way of constellating.
Will be amazing, I guess. And if you want to publish now something, you can do that. I mean, it's a lot of different platforms you can do by your way. Now I'd like to ask you, if someone they would like to come in contact with you, what is the best channel for you, Emerson?
Probably is my email or phone, WhatsApp or something like that. It would be the best way to contact me. Shall I say what my email address is?
Like you wish. It's
Yeah.
up to you.
Okay, sure. Yeah. No, my email address is info@emersonbastos.co.uk, and Emerson is EMERSONBASTOS.co.uk. So this is the best way to get in touch with me. And so or check my website. If the person wants to read a bit more about me or have more information about how I work, which my website is www.emersonbastos.co.uk.
It's amazing. So, Emerson, if you have a message for the world, what will be?
Well, uh, the only thing I can say is like we are in this together. We are in this together.
It's a good start, you know?
Yes, it's like we. I think the important part is we, yeah, because it's not about I am here and you are over there. You know, it's we are in this together. So
In,
if we looked
in
after not only ourselves but each other, we'll be here together in an even better way.
yes, interconnected in some way.
Interconnected, interdependent. My well-being depends on the well-being of the other, and their well-being depends on mine. So the more we look after each other, the more we look after ourselves too.
Yeah, absolutely. In one of my first book, I wrote about that, about mirroring. So
Mhm.
everything what we don't like in the front of us sometime, yeah, actually it's a part maybe of us to look a little bit, it's an invitation if you want, to look a little bit closer and maybe if we find the courage to integrate that slowly, slowly with the time.
Exactly, yeah. And that's such an important awareness as well. I'm glad you have it in the book there because the more people become aware of that, the more inwardly we are going to be looking because we project so much of our issues, everything that annoys us, everything that we see in others is such a clear reflection of our unaware part, unhealed part of our injuries, unresolved stuff. So,
Yeah, projecting to the people, it's another topic, very warm, if you ask me. But with the years, with the time, you coming in a place where you accept the person in the front of you like they are, with the plus, with the minus, with how they are, how they think, how they behave, maybe.
Mhm.
So this is fantastic. Everyone is different in
Mm.
some way. So that's fantastic, maybe.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask you, what element do you personally resonate with the most in the 5 elements constellation?
People sometimes they ask me about themselves, which elements in that, and they say, "Oh, I think I'm more this, I'm more that." If I am more one, it means I'm not in balance. We are all of them equally, and it's like day and night. You know, it moves here, move that way, move here, move this way. This season, it is one. At one moment, there is a bit more emphasis here, and then the other moment, the emphasis goes there. But even when the emphasis goes that way, this also the other part is also part of me. And if I have a very strong resonance with one, it means I'm a little bit stuck. So because the idea is that they all work in tandem with one another, support one
Synergetic.
very much synergetically, especially because there are two major cycles, the creative and supportive cycles, and that it shows very clearly that all of them are interconnected, interrelated, interdependent. And so whatever happens in one, whatever happens anywhere affects everywhere. So there are times when I am more in resonance with one, etc. But if I'm too long there, I know what is it that's getting stuck here? What is the thing, or maybe that I'm avoiding over there, and what the thing I'm suppressing here? You know, because then the is life in flow.
Yeah, it's nice because I think before you answer the question, I think about water.
Uh-huh.
Wow, I would like to be water. Be water, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
But when you explain, maybe I must look closer to all the elements.
Yeah, well, but water. Now, what does water represent in this work? Represents ancestry, the source of life. Haven't we come from water, evolved from water? So, if we go back far enough, we're going to go back to one single cell living organism there. And that represents not only the ancestral part in terms of blood only, as well as that. But all the developments, all the heritage, all the support, all the strength and that we have had, culture, religion, country, traumas, all of that.
Yeah, but when I start to understand how life come to me and how many people and how many maybe story, I don't know all the stories, of course. I have a huge respect, it's like, wow, so many people before the life come here to me. So this is, wow, powerful when I discovered that for myself.
Indeed. And this is good to me. I talk about this because I said in my workshops, people have 3 options, and I mentioned only 2. You can constellate an issue, the 5 elements. The third option is they can constellate one element. So if you are resonating with water, in the workshop, you can just constellate that element. And this,
Okay, and navigate just that element.
yes, because they feel like, because at the beginning of the time together, I have my posters on the wall, and I give you a very brief description of what each element is related to, and also of the cycles. And then sometimes people feel like, I cannot stop looking at this one. I want to constellate that one. So we go for it.
Yeah,
From that, everything's is interconnected. So if you work somewhere here, it's going to affect everything anyway.
many insights with you, Emerson, today, and I'm very glad that you accept the invitation and to share your perspective and your work, of course. And in the final, the last question, I hope I don't, tired you with all these questions.
Not
What
at
I
all,
have.
not at all. I'm really enjoying your interest, and I can see you are part of this world of constellation anyway. And you are part of it because you know how important it is. So to share this for me, it's always a pleasure. And I've been really enjoying our time together here anyway.
So, what is alive in your work right now?
What is alive in my work?
Yeah, like workshops. You have mentioned
Okay.
maybe the people
Yes.
they can come and enjoy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. In terms of constellation work, I see people for individual sessions or for group sessions, individual presence or online. In terms of workshops, I have my regular workshops here in London. And in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to Bucharest. I'm bringing the 5-element constellation there. There is a person that invited me, so I'm going to be there. From there, I'm going to go straight to Athens. So sharing the work in Athens as well. If anybody who's listening is one of these areas there. On my website, everything is listed there. So, and the contact details are there as well. And from Athens, I go to Crete, to a place called Nikolaos. And I've been going to Greece for the last 13 years, usually twice a year. And then we have a retreat end of the year there as well. And so I go there, and otherwise I have my workshops here. And then I am from Brazil, and I also, when I go there to visit my family there, and I work there as well. There are people who I know there that they organize workshops there as well. So, which is a great way of going, visiting everybody, being in Brazil, my native land, and sharing this work with them as well, which is really great. There was something I was going to say. Oh, maybe come back to me. Oh, yes, I remember. Because one of the ways my work has been evolving is because sometimes people, they say, especially people who organize a workshop in Brazil or Greece, places like that, they say, I know a lot of people, they are dealing with issues a bit like this. And then say, can you have a constellation workshop to look at that? I said, yes, we can do that. So for many years now, I've been running themed workshops. Yeah. So we had some symptoms and illness, relationships, and the one that for this year, 2026, I have it in London in April, and Athens and Crete and Brazil as well, is the Giving the Here and Now a Chance Constellation Workshop, as well as the 5-element Constellation Workshop. So it's a themed one. So we explore a theme, in this case, giving the here and now a chance, which is a very Gestalt perspective, but we use small groups, constellation exercises, to look at things that are affecting the here and now in a way that charges it or changes it or deflects it, and it takes a bit of focus, or make the here and now more difficult than the difficulty of the here and now actually is. If I made myself clear there.
Yes, Emerson. Thank you very much. Again, you take the time and you accept the invitation tonight.
It's been great talking to you, Marius. And this is the first time I'm meeting, and it's been a huge pleasure. So I'm very glad to read a little bit about your work as well. Amazing. Very appreciated. I'm glad you're getting it out in the world, and so making it available to more people as well.
My name is Marius, and thank you for listening.